Okay, everyone, welcome to this evening's conference with Le Cercle des Langues. Tonight we will be discussing telling the time in English. And this conference is level A1 to A2. The conference will last 25 minutes for 25 minutes, and we will have 5 minutes to do a question and answer. So if you have any questions, please take them down either on a piece of paper or take them down and put them into the chat. So soit papier or le chat. So you can choose and we will discuss everything at the end. The PDF of the conference will be sent to you after the conference via email. Okay, so let's begin. In today's conference, we will be looking at 4 different parts. We will be looking at the basic vocabulary for talking about the time. We will look at prepositions and time periods. We are going to look at asking questions and responding to them. And finally, some idioms and expressions. So let's begin. For the introduction, knowing how to tell the time in English is important for effective communication, punctuality, and daily life. It helps to make plans and coordinate activities. So, si vous voudrez, juste à côté, il y a la traduction en français. So you can have a look at the translation. In the UK, especially in casual conversation, people often use the 12-hour clock system when speaking. For example, instead of saying it is, 18, some people might say 6 o'clock in the evening. However, in written form, the 24-hour clock is commonly used. So, ça veut dire qu'en conversation, normalement, on ne dit pas c'est 18 heures. En fait, en anglais, on dit 6 heures, mais soit le matin ou soit le soir. So we say it is 6 a.m. and it is 6 p.m. p.m. signifies, it shows that c'est l'après-midi, c'est le soir. It is later in the day. In France, it's more common to use the 24-hour clock system, both in spoken and written communication. So, 18 would typically be expressed as 18 heures. So, 6 o'clock, en fait en français, c'est 18 heures, 18 hours in French. In summary, while both countries officially use the 24-hour clock, the UK uses the 12-hour clock and more often in spoken language. So it's important for you to choose which one do you prefer. So we are going to have a look at that. So basic vocabulary for speaking about time. So we can talk about a hand clock, which is normally analog. We can talk about a wall clock. We then speak about the hours, and we speak about a watch. We talk about the minutes. We talk about the seconds. We talk about the hour hand, So in a clock, we have the hands, the points that show us the time. We call them hands in English, c'est des mains. We have the minute hand and we have the second hand. We've got clock face. We can also have a digital clock or a display. We can be late or we can be early. So, en retard, au tôt, or en avance. So let's look at AM and PM. For AM, ante meridiem, for times in the morning. And PM, post meridiem, for times in the afternoon and evening. For example, it's 8:45 a.m. So we will be here, 8:45 a.m. Or it's 7:30 p.m., which is here. Oh, excusez-moi. Donc, parfois on peut dire oui, c'est 18h30 or c'est 18h. But in English, we are here. So 6 p.m. So that is why they say in English, we use the 12 hour, le 12 heures, because on utilise 2 heures le matin et on revient et on utilise 2 heures pour le soir ou l'après-midi. So that is why we call it 12-hour time. AM pour le matin, PM pour l'après-midi et le soir. So let's look at some prepositions and time periods. Prepositions play a crucial role in expressing the relationship between different points on the clock. So on utilise des prépositions pour exprimer le point différent quand on dit ou on voudrait exprimer l'heure. So key prepositions we use is past. When we say quarter past or 10 past, we're referring to a specific time on the clock where the minute hand has moved beyond the 12 o'clock position. For example, it's 3:15 means it's 3. So c'est 15 heures après 3. So it's 15 after 3. So anytime, je vais mettre au chat. So we can look at it in a little bit more detail. Vous pouvez voir le chat. Si vous tapez le 4e bouton en bas de l'écran, c'est le chat. So if we say, if the time is in English, 3, we can say, en fait c'est 15 heures. So c'est 3. We say it is 3 minutes past 3 p.m. So 3 minutes past 3. So that is how we use past, parce que c'est passé. It moved past. So we say 3 minutes past 3. Another example is if I say 6:20. I can say it is 20 minutes past 6. Okay? So that is how we use the word past. 2. So, pour la première partie, on a utilisé past. And now, pour la prochaine partie, the second half, we are going to use to. On the other hand, to is used to indicate the remaining minutes until the next hour. For instance, 10 to means 10 minutes before the next hour. So 10 to 4 is 3:50. Donc, si c'est un peu difficile, le premier partie de l'horloge, on va utiliser past pour montrer le premier heure. So, si c'est 10 heures, on dit 5 past 10, 10 past 10, 15 ou quarter past 10, 20 minutes past 10, jusqu'à 10h30. Afterwards, maintenant, on commence avec presque une nouvelle heure. So, we're going to a new hour. So now we start with 2. It is 20 minutes to 11. 25 minutes to 11. Parce que c'est presque. So it's almost the new hour. Half past. This preposition is used to denote exactly 30 minutes past the hour. So c'est une demi-heure. For example, 6:30 means it is 6:30. Okay? 6h30 ou 18h30. So let's look. So here we have our diagram. Everything on the right, à droite, shows us past. So we've got 5 past 12, 10 past 12, quarter past, parce qu'on ne dit pas 15 past. We don't say 15 minutes past. On peut, but normally we say quarter past. 20 past, 25 past, and half past, parce que c'est demi. We now move into 2. So, on recommence avec 25 to, parce que c'est 25 minutes avant. We say 22, quarter to, 10 to, and 5 to 1, parce que we've changed. C'est pas 12 heures, c'est 1 heure. So when we talk about periods of time, we talk about the morning. The morning, it's the time from sunrise until noon. When we talk about noon, we talk about specifically referring to 12 p.m., marking the midday. Parce que mid, c'est comme au milieu. Mid, c'est entre les deux. Midi, c'est presque pareil. Afternoon, the period following the morning until the evening. So we've got morning, afternoon, evening, and night time. Evening typically begins around 6 p.m. and lasts until nightfall. Nightfall, ça veut dire que c'est quand la nuit tombe. So when it starts to become dark. Night is the period after evening until midnight. Midnight, minuit. Midnight is exactly 12 a.m. En français, c'est 24 heures. Marking the start of a new day and the end of the previous one. So examples. In the morning, I go to the park to enjoy the fresh air and the morning sunlight. Noon. At noon, I take a break from work to have a quick lunch. Afternoon. In the afternoon, I attend a meeting to discuss upcoming projects and deadlines. Evening. As the evening begins, I like to relax with a good book and a cup of tea. Night. During the night, I love to stargaze, so regarde les étoiles, and appreciate the calmness. Midnight. At midnight, I like to meditate. Vous pouvez voir qu'on utilise at midnight, at night, mais on dit in the evening, in the afternoon, at noon, and in the morning. So il faut faire attention avec des prépositions. We just need to look at the prepositions that we use. So asking questions and responding to them. What kind of common questions could you hear in English? What time is it? Quelle heure est-il? Do you have time? Do you have the time? So avez-vous l'heure? Could you tell me what time it is? Pouvez-vous me dire l'heure qu'il est? May I ask for the time? Puis-je vous demander l'heure? Could you inform me of the current time? Pouvez-vous m'informer de l'heure actuelle? And can you let me know what time it is? Pouvez-vous m'indiquer l'heure qu'il est? The first 3 phrases are very common. The last 3 are slightly, so un peu plus formelles. Mais vous pouvez utiliser n'importe lequel phrase, tout est correct. So everything is correct. These are the most common ways to tell the time. So this is important. This part is important so you can see how do we say the time. So on the hour, so l'heure. It's 1 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. So we just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we just count and we use the word o'clock. Half past, so une demi-heure. We say it's 2:30. We can also say it is 1:30. Mais 2:30, c'est plutôt aux États-Unis qu'ils utilisent 2:30. It's 6:30 and it's 11:15. Quarter past. So, it's 4:15, mais aux États-Unis, il dit it's 4:15. So, il est 4h15. It's 9:15 or it's 9:15. So, Royaume-Uni, we say it's 9:15. Aux États-Unis, it's 9:15. Quarter to. It's 7:45, il est 8h moins le quart, or it's 7:45. It's 7:45 or it's 7:45. It's 11:45 or it's 11:45. Il est 2h moins le quart. Or you can simply read the time in numbers. Ça veut dire que vous pouvez utiliser simplement les chiffres. This is common to do in the USA. So, aux États-Unis, il utilisait le format suivant. Il dit, it is 3:40 a.m. It is 6:43 a.m. It is 11:45 a.m. or it is 10:15 a.m. So again, if you are using AM, c'est le matin, it's in the morning. PM, it's after the afternoon. So it's afternoon. So we'll say, we're going to do a little exercise. On va faire un petit exercice sur le chat. So translate these sentences in the chat, s'il vous plaît. So vous pouvez choisir. You can do one, you can do a few. Je me réveille généralement à 6h30. What would we say in English? Il est 11h45. À midi, je déjeune avec mes amis. Il est 9h15. Il est 22h. So what would we say in English? Let's hear. Okay, so Hubert says, I usually wake up at 6:30. Ah, n'oubliez pas, 6:30. C'est le contraire. So, I usually wake up at 6:30 or 6:30. I get up at 6:30. Parfait. I wake up generally at 6:30. Exactement. So now we can see, on peut voir comment on utilise l'heure. Sometimes it can be confusing, but if it becomes too difficult, si parfois c'est trop difficile, on peut utiliser l'heure suivante. On peut dire, it is, I wake up at 6:30. Ah, c'est ça que vous avez dit en fait. Excusez-moi, j'ai voulu voir. 6:30. 6:30. Très bien. So if it is too difficult, we can use this. Let's see. Bruno says, at noon I have lunch with my friends. Parfait. We can use at noon pour exprimer midi. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's look at idioms and expressions that you will find. We say in English, time flies. Le temps passe vite. We say time flies. We can talk about killing time, tuer le temps. Peut-être pas le même sens, mais killing time, ça veut dire que vous trouvez quelque chose à faire pendant que vous attendez. Beat the clock. Battre la montre, je ne sais pas si la sens est pareil, mais beat the clock, ça veut dire que you would like to do better than the time. So, par exemple, si j'ai fait un dossier en 5 minutes, maintenant je vais le faire en 4 minutes. So, it's beating the clock. And a race against time, ça veut dire que si vous avez 30 secondes de faire quelque chose, il faut le faire en 30 secondes. You are racing against the time. Time is of the essence. Le temps est essentiel. Once in a blue moon, ça veut dire que c'est rarement en fait. So si j'ai dit, I paint once in a blue moon, ça veut dire que I paint rarely, so not a lot. Better late than never, mieux vaut tard que jamais. Behind the times, en retard sur son temps. So in conclusion, when talking about time, it is important to be really precise as it relates to all areas of life. Therefore, try to use the prepositions, the vocabulary, and different ways of telling the time that we studied during this presentation. To be honest, en vrai, I think to make it easier, you should choose which is easy for you. Is it 12 hour? Is it, comme aux États-Unis, 6:30, just saying the numbers? So when you find what works for you, it makes it easier. D'accord? C'est vraiment plus facile. So thank you for participating with me in today's conference. Est-ce que vous avez des questions? Would you have any comments, any questions, or anything that you would like to share? You can unmute your microphones if you would like to share anything with me.
Yes, I have a question, please.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, if I want to say it's 10 minutes to 6, is
Yes.
it mandatory to say minutes, or can I just say 10 to 6?
No, you can just say 10 to 6.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Some people prefer to say 10 minutes to 6, but it's perfectly fine if you say 10 to 6.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Do we have any other questions?
No.
No, thanks. All is clear. So thank you for joining me for this conference this evening. As I said, you will receive the conference via email. Okay. So I would like to wish you a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you next week for the next conference. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank
Bye.
you.
you.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.